All praise is for Allah alone, the Lord of the seen and the unseen. Peace and blessings be upon his final messenger Muhammad. Fear is one of the greatest driving forces inside the human heart. It shapes decisions, controls actions, determines priorities, and reveals a person's true level of faith. But in our time, a spiritual disease is spread. People fear criticism more than sin, fear society more than the hereafter, fear humiliation more than hypocrisy, and fear creation more than the Creator. Why do we fear people more than Allah? The Qur'an exposes the psychology. The Prophet uncovers the roots. And spiritual analysis reveals how to cure it. 1. Fear of people begins when the fear of Allah weakens. Allah says, "It is only Shaitan who frightens you of his supporters. So do not fear them. Fear me if you are believers." Surah Al-Imran 3:175. This ayah reveals the starting point. True believers fear Allah above everything. Weak hearts fear people because Shaitan influences them. When Iman drops, human opinions rise. When the heart is empty of Allah, it becomes full of people. Fear is not removed by motivational talk. Only faith replaces fear. 2. We fear people because we see them constantly and we forget Allah constantly. Humans naturally fear what feels real and present. People's opinions, eyes, comments, and reactions are immediate. The punishment of Allah feels distant to weak hearts. Allah describes a spiritual reality. They know what is apparent of worldly life, but they are heedless of the hereafter. Surah Ar 30:7. This means people fear worldly consequences. They ignore the consequences of the hereafter. They fear losing money, status, image, acceptance. But they don't fear losing Iman, modesty, sincerity. Distance blinds the heart. Neglect blinds the soul. 3. Fear of people is a form of hidden shirk. The Prophet said, "Do not let the fear of people prevent you from speaking the truth." Ibn Majah. When a person changes their actions, adjusts their principles, hides their faith, leaves what Allah loves, follows what people love, lies to impress others, fears criticism more than Allah's anger, then the heart slips into a form of riyah, showing off. Riyah is minor shirk, and it destroys sincerity. Allah warns, do they fear people? But it is Allah who is most worthy of being feared. Surah At-Tawbah 9:13. When people control you, it's a sign that Allah no longer dominates your heart. For we fear people because we are attached to the dunya. The Prophet described the end-time disease: love of the world and hatred of death. Abu Dawud. When dunya becomes the priority, people's opinions matter. People's acceptance becomes oxygen. People's criticism becomes death. People's rejection becomes unbearable. But the one whose heart is attached to Allah becomes fearless. Like Ibrahim, who said, "I do not fear what you associate with him." Surah Al-An'am 6:80. Fearlessness is born from detachment. 5. We fear people because we don't know who Allah is. Ignorance of Allah creates fear of creation. When a person does not understand Allah's might, Allah's protection, Allah's plan, Allah's justice, Allah's knowledge, Allah's control, Allah's power, Allah's honor, Allah's reward, then naturally the heart clings to people. But Allah says, "Indeed, my protection is superior to all protections." Surah At-Tawbah 9:51. People can only harm you if Allah allows them. They can only benefit you if Allah wills it. 6. We fear people because we seek validation instead of divine pleasure. Allah describes the hypocrites. They love the praise of people more than the praise of Allah. Surah Al-Imran 3:188. This means they want approval. They need applause. They depend on praise. They worship image. And when the nafs becomes addicted to validation, it becomes terrified of losing it. Fear of people is actually fear of losing their praise. 7. We fear people because we don't practice ihsan. Ihsan means to worship Allah as if you see Him. Bukhari. If the heart sees Allah watching, People's eyes lose power. People's judgment becomes irrelevant. People's criticism becomes wind. People's expectations become small. But when the heart loses isin, people fill the space. Allah says, "And Allah is witness over all things." Surah Al-Imran 3 hours 98 minutes. Your boss sees you temporarily. Your society sees you occasionally. Allah sees you every second. 8. Fear of people destroys spiritual progress. Fear of people weakens courage, silences truth, blocks good deeds, leads to compromise, kills sincerity, creates hypocrisy, destroys self-respect, strengthens shaitan. The Prophet said, "Let not the fear of people prevent one of you from speaking the truth when he sees it." When fear of people grows, the soul shrinks. 9. Fear of Allah destroys fear of people. Allah says, "Whoever fears Allah, he will make his affairs easy." Surah At-Talaq 65:4. And, "So do not fear the people, but fear me." Surah Al-Ma'idah 5:44. Fear of Allah purifies the soul, strengthens the heart, clears the mind, increases courage, builds dignity, opens unexpected doors, removes anxiety, protects from humiliation. When your heart bows before Allah, it stands firm before humans. 10. How to break free from fear of people. Quranic methods. 1. Increase dhikr. Allah says remembrance brings strength. 2. Pray with sincerity. Salah removes spiritual weakness. 3. Practice small acts of bravery. Speak truth even when uncomfortable. 4. Learn about Allah's names and attributes. Knowledge creates awe. 5. Disconnect from excessive social validation. The less you need people, the less you fear them. 6. Make dua for a fearless heart. The Prophet taught, "O Allah, I seek refuge in you from cowardice." 7. Purify your intentions. Do everything for Allah, not people. 8. Build Taqwa. Taqwa is the shield from all fear. Conclusion. You fear people when your heart becomes small. You fear Allah when your heart becomes vast. You fear people when you rely on them. You fear Allah when you rely on Him. You fear people when you forget the hereafter. You fear Allah when you remember the hereafter. And the one who fears Allah becomes confident, courageous, calm, protected, unshakable, because he knows that no human being controls his destiny. Only Allah does. If this reminder awakened your heart and strengthened your faith, then don't forget. Like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel so more hearts can reconnect with the Quranic wisdom that transforms lives. Jazakumullahu khairan.